I'm here in chilly Boston to go to SLAS 26. Let's see what's heating up lab automation.
We innovate, we elevate. We are AutoMate.
So Garrett, we've walked around the show for the last couple of days, and we've seen a lot of embedded controls. How does B&R as an industrial automation supplier fit in with all of these kind of homegrown technologies?
Not only are we here with next level usability on our traffic management planar solution, which is really catching people's eyes, we also have all of our reliable industrial controls that are proven in a number of industries, including pharmaceutical, medical device. They can make a huge difference in the lab sciences by bringing all of the tools that you get from spanning to AI detection of anomalies, to controlling your slide axes, to creating a visualization for extra diagnostics, to adding distributed I/O, things that normally take an embedded or custom solution, and putting that all behind a single development interface that fits perfectly at a layer underneath the lab orchestration software. Can create reliability on these systems while maintaining flexibility and modularity, especially for custom labs.
Sure.
Bringing faster reproducibility and more flexibility and faster time to market.
You touched on something that I thought was interesting is that reliability. When you're dealing with embedding controls, it's kind of a race to the bottom for price. But with an industrial automation supplier, right, we've got the supply chain, the testing, all that stuff that really kind of sets us a little bit in a different position than an embedded controller. Are there any particular use cases you see where that difference is not a big deal to bring sort of a more industrialized solution to bear?
Yeah, for sure. So even something as simple as I/O, right?
Okay.
I need some digital inputs, some analog inputs, something like that. There are tons of solutions on the market, but when you already have the support of a company like B&R, adding just one more slice, the project exists, you're creating maybe one more API point that goes into your lab orchestration thing instead of a whole interface and a whole support chain and a whole engineering contact team. It can become something that's taken care of in less than an hour versus a day of research or a day of implementing something that's new or custom when it's just slightly outside of your wheelhouse. Our wide range of things on I/O or range of servo motors for upsizing a linear axis and having to get outside your normal comfort zone or what you have used before makes it easy to just be more adaptable.
Sure.
When that next project or the lab requirements change from what the original ideas were.
So really, speed is one of those things where we unlock because we've got a kind of stable platform with which you can build upon rather than the more tinkery method that you might get into in those sorts of instances.
It's true, and a lot of the custom solution providers here have a really good methodology. But what we've seen in other industries, particularly in ones where production matters so much, and 0.1% uptime has a real measurable impact. As you look to scale from the research labs that we see here, especially more towards the clinical and diagnostic side of things, where things eventually grow to, that reliability becomes more and more important. And that's kind of the world we live in, where that's our bread and butter.
We've been seeing, especially in most of like the OEM market here, devices and instruments tend to be tabletop or little work cube things. Like, does B&R have in your opinion, a position there because everything's so small? Or is there somewhere else that you think our kind of product portfolio fits?
And so we certainly have a lot of things that can be done with, for example, like our most compact PLC. If you want to switch from like a Windows-based control, which comes with its own challenges,
it does,
to a more robust automation-specific runtime, and we can do that in a super compact form factor. But we're not going to fit in every desktop device, and that's okay. It's going to be more the high complexity, high productivity devices where you can leverage some of the library tools that we have along with the nice like I/O and motor drive form factor that we have, where it might make sense. I think that anytime you get outside of one piece of equipment and you need to coordinate multiple pieces of equipment, and that real-time performance can make a difference as far as reliability goes.
Sure.
I think there we make a lot of sense, even if we're underneath the Windows or the orchestration layer from the control perspective.
Being able to kind of synchronize with the different units. Maybe we see a lot of like robots to do tray handling between 2 or 3 instruments,
Yep.
when you've got kind of your storage rack where you're trying to be able to select between. The other thing that's really big, I'm understanding, is then the data tracking, right? And so maybe there's a place for machine vision as a simple code scanner to make sure that that data is being transferred.
Yeah, if you're leveraging us, for example, like a Scara robot to handle
Yeah.
some of these transfers, once you have one thing that's an awesome fit because of the product form factor of that particular thing, the incremental benefits of
Sure.
adding the
Yeah, yeah.
additional things like another servo axis or vision like you brought up, they become no-brainers because it's just so easy to add one library implementation, short engineering investment, and then it's reusable for the next machine because you've already done it.
Yeah.
Just makes perfect sense.
So over the last day that we've been here, you've been walking around, do you see any differences between what is the, let's say, more European, more global space for these life science products versus what you've seen here at the Lab Automation Show for the US market?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a difference. The difference is that in this show you see all the global players are in this industry. You can find them here. You see how the vision and innovation is going live, and here you can really feel it. And I do believe in this format, this is the biggest, and it's a kind of unique show where you can really see how the life sciences, as I say, going live.
It really is. It's a very impressive show. Anything else maybe surprise you in what you saw?
It's also, as you said, the laboratories and also the machinery they have. You see a very simple machine, which is you can put it on a table in laboratory, but you can see also a high complex machinery, which are quite a high level machinery for laboratories. And you see also, for us from an automation point of view, you see also some challenges where we do believe we can solve it, or we have an answer how you can overcome, thinking from isolated automation today,
Yeah.
how you can go and move more to connected ecosystems.
Maybe what are 1 or 2 things that you think we excel at that would be really useful to, as you said, kind of help them overcome challenges in this market?
You see, but also you see in the second time now I'm here, you see that the life science, the scientists are understanding that we, from automation point of view, as automation supplier, can support them, as I said before, to overcome the challenges they have. So that means they have to make sure that the traceability is there, they have a faster and reliable results. And here, coming to our technology, we can say, okay, by design, we can give you the traceability.
Sure. Yeah,
by
yeah.
design, you can have real-time following up your workflows and process. You can have all the data already stored in a digital way. Talking about digitalization, automation, and have really reliable results. This is how we can support them to achieve.
Yeah, really it's letting the scientists focus on the science, and we can then bring the automation knowledge
Correct.
in a almost a consultative way.
We are around the world, so it means we have more than 100 plus offices where we can support from the sales, but also from the application. We as B&R, we could build in the last 40 years, I would say, very good base and experience how to act and how to improve or develop a project. So that means they are not alone. As you said, they are scientists, they have to do their job, and our job is to make sure that the project and the application is running in a good way.